going on, Jerome? So I feel like we as fans have been pretty successful bullying the Vikings into signing players that we want as of late. Worked last year with Dalton Reisner, worked earlier with Stephon Gilmore, and now Mo Ibrahim, he is him, running back legend for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, is now in purple for one practice and one preseason game. But they'll get a close look at him. He's coming off a major injury, and if the Vikings need a running back during the season, practice squad, or maybe even for the 90-man roster next year, doing a little bit of legwork. And the Vikings had kicked the tires on Mo Ibrahim about a couple weeks ago. Now they have signed him to the 90-man roster, as well as Chuck Filiaga, former Gopher starting right guard, 6'6", 321. Had a cup of coffee with the Packers, but won't hold that against him. Tell us everything you know. To make room, they put Trey Knox on season-ending waived with injury designation, as well as Jacoby Francis, cornerback who was signed in camp, has been waived as well. Now, of course, Filiaga, fantastic. Always room for plus-size offensive linemen, but Mo is the man. He's the man here, right? 25 years young, does turn 26 in the fall, 5'8", 203, former three-star recruit from Olney, Maryland, and made an impact right away for the Golden Gophers. Redshirt freshman year, 2018, 1,160 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns. 2020, 1,076 yard rushing, 15 touchdowns. Third team All-American, Big Ten running back of the year. All the accolades are there. Now, a lot of people thought that he would declare then because, the shelf life for running backs, pretty small. And Mo, I think, had shown enough in 2020 that he probably would have been a mid-round selection, 4th, 5th rounder, somewhere in there. But he returned to the Gophers, and what sucked in 2021, first game of the year, I can remember it now. It's a Thursday night game, pretty sure. Just popped his Achilles, and it's unfortunate. Plus, he had a monster game that game. 2022 came back and fought his way back and had a phenomenal super senior season. In 2022, 1,665 yards rushing, 20 touchdowns. He is him. And he has basically every single Gophers rushing record that you want. All of them. Season for 2022, career, get everything you want. But still one undrafted because age was a factor. Coming off the injury was a factor, as well as with running backs, there's a certain number of carries that are in your body, and Mo used up a lot of them in college. But went undrafted, landed with the Lions, was on initially in training camp with them, got injured, was waived with an injury settlement, and then was re-signed to the practice squad, and unfortunately had a pretty rough injury in a special teams play against the Ravens where he dislocated his hip. And that's one of the reasons why he's been on the sidelines and not on a 90-man roster thus far. But the Vikings checked him out, and he is now good to go, and now he's in the sphere. His scouting report from last season from LanceRline.NFL.com. Hard hat running back who operated with toughness, vision, and a feel for cut timing in the Minnesota inside-outside zone attack. Ibrahim's decisiveness stands out, but he's missing an elevated burst to clear second-level tacklers without taking bumps and bruises, hence the Damon Pierce comp. And if you play fantasy football, you understand the Damon Pierce frustration. He's not going to run away from NFL defenders, so creativity will be important to keep runs alive. His injury history, paired with his combative running style, could be a concern for some teams, but his no-nonsense running approach and innate feel for the end zone will be easy for coaches to love. And that's what stands out, too. Like, running style, it's very much akin to the late, great Marion Barber III, the pride of Wayzata, Marion the Barbarian, who also wore the 2-4 for the Gophers. So, I mean, he's running to contact, man. And Mo, powerfully built, comfortable in zone and gap, ran a lot of it with the Gophers, especially inside zone. Mature running style because he doesn't have the elite quickness or speed or anything like that, so he has to be more crafty. Does have that nose for the end zone, just is patient, finds a crack of daylight, just goes, man. He is limited as a receiver and a pass blocker. That he's kind of like Dwayne McBride coming out of UAB. That wasn't really what he was asked to do. Does turn 26 in September. Does have that injury history. That Achilles in 2021. Of course, that hip dislocation last year. Just as I get older, like I think about hip injuries and it's just like, ugh. Yeah, because I got a friend where she had a hip replacement, and it's like, man, that sounds terrible. But she's doing well now. But he's also a very low risk, moderate reward spot. And I'm under no illusion that Mo's going to make the 53 or even the practice squad in all likelihood. But like we said, getting a look at him in practice today, as well as potentially in the preseason game against the Eagles, will be good for him. It's put in the dossier if they need to bring in back to the practice squad this year, or potentially, like we said, for the 90-man roster next year. But overall, like, the running back room is pretty set. So C.J. Ham, fullback extraordinaire / special teamer. Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, that's going to be your 1-2 punch. King Kenny, they want King Kenny to be RB3, and rightfully so. The kid is a physical freak, and I think that he's developed quite a bit as a runner. Gaskin, as you saw against the Browns, that very solid all-around veteran. And Dwayne McBride, they like, and they're trying to incorporate him more into special teams. So isn't really a spot for Mo at this stage, but I do like that the Vikings are getting a closer look at him and keeping him in the Rolodex and going from there. So it's a great success story. Again, one of the Minnesota Golden Gophers legends, plus a guy coming off of a couple major injuries. Obviously rooting for him. Love the story, man. Anyways, your thoughts, our thoughts. Viking side, Mo Ibrahim. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skol, production value.